So many law firm owners feel like they're leaking money, but they can't pinpoint exactly where. So, what are the biggest operational gaps that you see that most firms overlook?
Right now, it's all about um, staffing and retaining staff and choosing the right staff, training them so they'll stay, doing onboarding. I think a lot of firms are still stuck in that sink or swim mentality, and it's so hard to find good staff right now. It's really really difficult. And the paralegal aspects, about 50% of them are leaving within 2 years,
Wow.
and just jumping from firm to firm.
Right.
Attorney unemployment is under 1%, so it's
Wow.
really hard to find an attorney.
Yeah.
And our research shows that that retention doubles when you're training your team members.
If you're an aggressive, growth-minded attorney looking to transform your law firm into a thriving business, you're in the right place. Welcome to the AGM Attorney Podcast, the #1 podcast dedicated exclusively to aggressive, growth-minded attorneys. Each episode will deliver actionable strategies and insights to help you attract ideal clients, scale your law firm, and dominate your market. And now, here's your host, Josh Konigsberg.
Welcome to the AGM Attorney Podcast, where aggressive, growth minded attorneys discover proven strategies to transform their law firms into thriving businesses. A special thank you to our sponsor, Law Firm Marketing Pros. They get you more leads, more clients, and more profits. I'm your host, Josh Konigsberg. Let's get aggressive. Hey, Josh Konigsberg back with another exciting episode of the AGM Attorney Podcast. I'm super excited today. My guest is Brooke Birkey. She is the owner of Level Up Law Firm Business Coaching, where she helps law firms unlock hidden revenue, tighten up their operations, and build high-performing teams. With hands-on experience in every role from receptionist to marketing director, Brooke understands exactly where law firms lose money and how to fix it. Through coaching, recruiting, and emotionally intelligence-based team training, she equips firms to scale without chaos and boost profits across every department. Welcome, Brooke.
Thanks, Josh. It's so good to be here.
Yeah, it's good to see you again. So, Brooke, you've worked your way through nearly every role inside a law firm, from front desk to leadership. What inspired you to launch Level Up Law Firm Business Coaching?
Well, like you said, I've almost always worked in law firms, and I love the culture. It's very near and dear to my heart. And I had launched Level Up because I saw a need in the market that wasn't really being filled, and that's emotional intelligence coaching for intake, but then also for case management, attorneys, things like that. The emotional intelligence aspects really helps transform the way you do business with clients and earn trust, which of course affects a whole bunch of other areas of the business.
For sure. So, can you speak to attorneys who haven't worked with a coach or a consultant before? Like, what does your firm actually do, and how is it different from a traditional business coaching program?
That's $1 million question. People ask me all the time what I do, and I say I'm a law firm trainer. And they say, "Oh, okay, so you're a consultant?" I'm like, "Yes." "What do you do?" "Okay." Even my own mother doesn't know what I do. Just and so when I say law firm trainer, I mean coming in and really working with the human resources. So everybody has a coach to kind of get them, through the business aspects, and that is a great thing. And I do correlate with that. But I want to train your intake team. I want to do marketing and sales alignment training between two departments. I want to teach your case managers how to manage clients and be more efficient and reduce opportunity costs, manage expectations, things like that. I would love to teach your attorneys, whoever's listening, how to manage their staff better and how to manage their clients better using these emotional intelligence strategies. And adding that EQ, as we call it, component really does make a difference because it changes things from the inside out, not just behavior modification.
So, how did you come about learning these skills? So, it's not, even if you work inside a law firm, it's not necessarily that you pick up skills like that.
Correct. Yeah. So someone who is very, very close to me, almost like a second mother, taught me everything she knows. She's a therapist.
Okay.
And so I learned growing up, and she's taught me a ton over the years.
So we could call you a law firm therapist.
And that's part of what I do sometimes, manage people with their own thoughts, their feelings, their emotions, conflict resolution, things like that. It's all very important in business.
So many law firm owners feel like they're leaking money, but they can't pinpoint exactly where. So what are the biggest operational gaps that you see that most firms overlook?
So right now, I would say that question would have had a different answer even like 2 or 3 years ago. But right now it's all about um, staffing and retaining staff and choosing the right staff, training them so they'll stay, doing onboarding. I think a lot of firms are still stuck in that sink or swim mentality, and it's so hard to find good staff right now. It's really, really difficult. On the paralegal aspects, about 50% of them are leaving within 2 years.
Wow.
And just jumping from firm to firm.
Right.
Attorney unemployment is under 1%, so it's really hard to find an attorney.
Yeah.
And our research shows that that retention doubles when you're training your team members.
Wow. Okay.
And so we do onboarding programs, we do training programs for almost every aspect of the business to really equip people and make them feel like they can succeed in your business, in your firm.
And I can tell you as a lifelong entrepreneur, turnover is very, very expensive. On the surface, it might not appear so, but it is very, very expensive.
Yes, it is. I think the last statistic I saw was it takes about up to 90% of their salary to replace them. And that's up from what it was a few years ago.
Right. So in essence, you can say, again, not to overstep my bounds, but almost as if someone were to hire you, you're paying for yourself just by doubling retention.
Yes. Yes, you could say that. Our intake training programs tend to see about a 20% increase in conversion rate for personal injury in particular. We have different stats for other areas, but the programs do pay for themselves.
Yeah. It's amazing. And I'll say that the two most difficult areas of running a business, a law firm business, are going to be people and marketing. So,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. So intake is also obviously one of the most important revenue drivers. And we all have seen leaky buckets. And it's oftentimes one of the weakest links. So what are the common intake breakdowns that cost firms the most money?
Oh my goodness, there's so many. Probably the biggest one is not having a script in place and training to the script. So it's kind of like a lot of intake before training. They're just meandering and they're trying to get the information that they need, but it's not really that clear. And the other externality on that side is that the caller is allowed to control the conversation, which undercuts on the authority of the person who's trying to get them to sign up.
Okay.
And so it's really important to have a script. We use a conceptual script. So it's not, say this, say this, say this, say this. It's more like hit this high point, because I want them to sound like themselves, not me.
Right. And that sounds more natural for the, it's funny. One of the most common things I'll say, and then sometimes it's, an epiphany when I'm talking to an attorney, oftentimes when someone is calling a law firm, it's the first time they've ever spoken to an attorney and they're scared. Right. So just something that simple. Right. And of course, when our clients listen to the recordings that we record all the intake calls, or the owners of the law firm are oftentimes aghast at what they hear. So yeah. I'm sure you've heard it all. So
yeah. And it's good to look under the hood. It's really, really good to look under the hood. And that's something that we do really for free is if you want us to call your firm and do a secret shop or review one of your recorded phone calls and do an analysis, and then we can give you an idea of where your firm stands. But
so what does a secret shop look like?
Oh, it's kind of fun. So we pretend to be a client, and we just go through the fact pattern. I've worked with all kinds of firms, so I understand the fact patterns of all of them really. And then just go through the entire process, record it, and then go back and analyze it replay it with the decision maker, and then show them, where they need help, which is usually in multiple places.
And of course, the person answering the phone, the intake person, doesn't know that it's a secret shopper. I call them ghost calls, but same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, they don't know. The decision maker obviously knows, and then we email them right away for the leads, so they can disregard the lead. But yeah, the intake specialist doesn't know.
So let's shift over to a little bit of to talk about some lessons from your experiences working as a law firm recruiter. What have you learned about finding and keeping the right people, and how does that impact growth for a law firm?
So finding the right people is harder than ever. It is really incredibly difficult. Never in my career have I seen it be this difficult. And so on the recruiting side, is say and we don't do a ton of this, but look for speed. So you have to find people quickly, because the market is so tough that they get snatched up right away. But you also have to be very discerning. So there's a big vulnerability in place if you hire somebody too quickly without fully vetting them, because they can have personality issues. But even more than that, if you even if you fully vet them, like let's say you spend 3 weeks interviewing and going through multiple steps and all of this, you can still have people with serious personality issues getting through, because they know how to fake it. They know how to social media, AI, all of this kind of confluence. Post-COVID, this trend really started to skyrocket. People know how to fake it, and so it's hiring is a gamble right now. And my team is constantly doing research on how to improve that situation. But the best I can say to everybody out there who's recruiting is just be very careful.
It's great advice. Very, very good advice. So emotional intelligence is a core part of your training also. So how does building emotionally intelligent teams translate into profitability? Like, what does it look like, and how does it translate into profitability?
Josh, it's a really fun process, because the team members are the ones who do it. They're the ones who take on the skills. They're the ones who get the insight. They're the ones who start to make better choices in how they handle calls and clients. So they're doing all the work. I'm just showing them where the light goes.
Okay.
And so, how emotional intelligence factors into it, it's really understanding yourself so you can understand other people. So I had them do a personality test so that they understand their own natural wiring, and then, talk about it together and see how other people are wired, because we tend to get in our own little insular bubble and think, oh, everyone in the world is wired like me. And if someone else is doing a behavior that I don't like, it's probably because they're just trying to be annoying. It's like,
Huh. Is that like a disc profile or a Colby?
I use the Strength Finders, the free version, and the Myers-Briggs, the free version. So that's 60 personalities and high five for anyone who wants to look it up.
Okay. And do you have a kind of a templated profile for different positions for different types of law firms? In other words, for us, for example, we know and we use Colby, but we know what a good client success manager profile looks like for a Colby score. Do you have that?
I do. Yeah, I have a profile for case manager and for intake specialist, but I use them just as a guidepost, just as extra information. I don't give them a ton of weight, because people can choose to behave differently than their natural wiring, and if they work a muscle long enough, then it changes. And so it's really just extra information to make a broader decision.
And I can tell you, and I think there might be some variables there, but we have been coached and decided that we're going for certain positions 100% with Colby, because we've tried to maybe it'll work out anyway, and it turns out to be a phenomenal waste of resources, right? So for us as an agency, for certain seats, we go with the Colby. So everything else is great. Colby's wrong. Sorry, not the right fit. So
It's a very interesting. We could probably have a totally different conversation about personality tests and their role and different tests have different roles, I think, too, and they offer different value.
So maybe we'll have you back on for that conversation.
Yeah, I would love that. Thank you.
So can you share a client success story where the coaching helped a firm fix an operational leak or leaks and create meaningful financial results as a result of you fixing those leaks?
Yeah, I could tell a few stories like that. So, our intake program, as I mentioned, tends to see about a 20 to 30% increase in conversion rates for our for sales.
Wow.
And that's in personal injury. So there's different stats for other areas. But they're all pretty high. And then the firms that go through what we call like a renovation or longer term engagement, and so that means that they do an assessment and then start with intake and then go to case management and do the integration trainings between case management and intake, attorney training. Those are the ones that have the best outcomes because they've applied it to every area of their business. And so I love hearing from those clients, and they're saying, "Oh, we're hiring another person, right? Because their business is growing so fast." So I love that. That makes my heart happy.
So what shifts have you seen in leadership style or firm culture after implementing some of your strategies?
I love that question. So I think people just tend to be a little bit more holistic about how they approach management and how they do onboarding and training. It's not just this idea of how things are supposed to look, but you do have people in the mix who are kind of a wild card at times. And so this is the training is kind of safety net. I've also seen people, and this is a good thing, become a lot less tolerant of bad behavior. So once they go through a training program, and I'm able to work with them for many weeks in a row, and I can identify some bad behavior from team members, and then we address it. We do healthy conflicts. But after some of those processes, I see people tend to be more strategic about conflict and not just tolerating bad employee behavior.
So speaking of conflict, do you get pushback from intake teams? Because I've seen that.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes, yeah. It's people who are resistant to change most of the time, or they don't like to hear that they're doing something wrong. Even though we tend to be very balanced about how we approach our feedback. And so, once you start to get in like 3, 4, or 5 weeks and the behavior hasn't changed, then it's time for a conflict. It's time to address it.
And that comes your high EQ comes into play there, right? So nobody likes to think that they're doing something wrong or wrong about anything, right? So it's difficult for some people to accept that. So
yeah, it can be. Yes.
Yeah. So let's talk about industry trends and what's next. So what are you seeing in law firm operations, intake, and recruiting that aggressive growth-minded attorneys should be paying attention to right now?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked me because I've been working on some research on this topic. So what I'm seeing is a trend of attorneys are growing fast on a foundation that's not quite solid because of the recruiting crisis, right? So you have turnover, as I said before, paralegals, they're turning over every 2 years. They're just like jumping from job to job to increase their salary, which is crazy. You have low unemployment for attorneys, and so the growth is happening on a foundation that needs to be more solid. Attorneys are turning to AI to compensate, right? But we don't know enough about AI yet to use it to make any, in my opinion, any real big investments in it. And from the emotional intelligence side, AI can be very damaging. It undermines emotional intelligence. It creates dependence. It lowers critical thinking. And so attorneys are between a rock and a hard place, right? Because you have to keep your operations going. Staffing is inconsistent. But AI is not the right solution either. And to be honest, I don't know what the right solution is other than to just keep looking at all the angles and make decisions based on all the information that's available right now when you're growing.
So, by the way, I agree with you, and we all know that there's AI hallucinations, and we do know that AI is learning and progressing very, very quickly. But I believe there's workarounds in process now for some of that. But I agree, they're probably going to it too fast, just simply because they don't know of any other solution, right? Because obviously, not every law firm knows about law firm marketing pros. Not every law firm knows about your company, Brooke, right? So
Yes, and I would encourage you to call both, whoever is listening, and what we can do to kind of, put some stability in there is, our training programs do have sticking capacity, right? So if you're worried about retention, training really is a good avenue.
good stuff. So, some advice for growth-minded attorneys. So, based on your work with so many law firms, what final nuggets of wisdom would you share with attorneys who are serious about growing without burning out or leaking profits?
Just be very strategic about how you do it and do your research. Take the time, sit down, put together a business plan for growth and do the research on every aspect of it, because the research has changed very significantly over the last year. So even what you knew last year isn't necessarily going to be what's going to get you to your next level of growth.
From a business standpoint, not a legal standpoint, but
Yeah.
as I like to say, the only time that you're a lawyer is when you're with a client working on a case in a courtroom, deposition, or mediation, right? So the rest of the time you're a business owner, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
So it's now time to move on to my favorite part of the AGM Attorney Podcast, and that's what I call the lightning round, where people get to know, like, and trust you. So, Brooke, I'm going to just ask you some questions, and whatever comes to mind, don't overthink it. Just whatever pops into your head in terms of the answer. Okay.
Okay.
So, Brooke, what never fails to make you laugh?
My dog. I have a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, and she's just so cute and funny, and she does crazy things like chase lizards and catch them, and she growls at her squeaky toy. It's just very funny and cute.
Love it. So, what was the best compliment you ever got?
The best compliment is when somebody tells me that our training helped them at home. So whatever emotional intelligence training we teach them at work, then they took home and used it. Yeah, I love that.
Love it. So, is there a person that you would like to trade places with for one day?
Maybe Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of shaping. I'm reading a book about him right now, so that's probably top of mind.
Well, hopefully not on one of his depressing days.
About the rise of his political career, which is very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Phenomenal human. Okay. So, do you have a guilty pleasure?
I don't think I have a guilty pleasure, but I do dance a lot. I am constantly out doing salsa dancing or swing dancing or anything like that. Things like that. So it's not guilty.
I just started taking dance lessons. So
Right.
yeah. So salsa. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, good.
Started with merengue. It's easier, right?
Yes.
Oh, that's something that most people don't know about me, by the way. So I'm just kidding. So what is the best gift that you have ever given someone?
I like to give like memorable photographs. It's kind of something that means a lot to both of us, and then put it in a frame.
Yep. Love it. Good. Yeah. I've received some of that. It's good stuff. What's the worst piece of advice you ever got?
Follow your own whims. Like someone just says like, "Oh, just do whatever you want." Like that's never good advice.
Yeah. Right. Eat the cake. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Just do what feels good. No.
So what's the one thing that you wish you were better at dealing with?
Oh, I wish that I was better at being flexible. So like switching gears quickly. I'm kind of like the Titanic. I corner like the Titanic. Like if I'm going in one direction, I want to keep going that direction.
Okay.
But I've been working really hard over the last few years to improve my brain flexibility.
Right. So being more nimble is really right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. What is your favorite childhood movie?
Gosh, there's so many. The Little Mermaid.
Very nice. Okay. What is the one book that changed your life?
Oh, I have to tell you, Beach Music by Pat Conroy. I have to tell you two. That's what I tell you. And Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, okay. So tell us something that most people don't know about you. Because we know that you dance.
Yes. I have weird food tastes. Like I like things together that are weird. Like I like yogurt with shredded cheese.
Okay, that's a little different. Let's call it different. Okay. It's all good. Okay, so Brooke, thanks so much for being our guest today on the AGM Attorney Podcast. Can you please tell our listeners what's the best way to contact you?
Yes, please reach out. It's Brooke, BROOKE, at leveluplawfirmcoaching.com. It's a mouthful.
And the website is levelupcoaching.com.
Leveluplawfirmcoaching.com.
Leveluplawfirmcoaching.com. Thanks for repeating that. Okay, so that's a wrap today at the AGM Attorney Podcast. Enjoyed our guest. It's been tremendous. We'll see you next time. Signing off for now, Josh Konigsberg. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the AGM Attorney Podcast. Now it's time to put these strategies into action and accelerate your growth. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, subscribe, and share. And we'll see you next time.